Let the struggle commence.
Sorry.
Let's see. I have a lot of housekeeping things, apparently. I was telling Grim earlier, I did prep work, and yet a lot of the prep work I think I did is absolutely not useful today. So, and now I'm reminding myself, well, what did I do that's actually useful?
Just think of it as a school day, or just watching movies and wearing pajamas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not, but I would have been, but
Metaphorically.
metaphorically.
Mhm.
Okay, last session there was stuff you guys had you had scavenged up something called sugar slumber berries, and I've now added some of those actual items to Yelena's inventory. But I need you to roll a 2d8 to see just how many you scavenged last session.
Do you want me to do that?
Yep. Nine. All right, so your inventory's been updated with 9 sugar slumber berries, and there's more of a description of like how they work and what they're good for. But you basically like discover that they're a thing, like they could put things to sleep. Though people who are normally immune to sleep, like say sleep effects like you and Kai, would not be subject to this. It'd just be a tasty berry. Now, Kai also scavenged some like red berries last session. Who ate those berries other than Kai?
I don't think I did.
I don't remember eating anything.
Yeah.
Kai doesn't remember eating anything.
Oh, Kai totally ate some of them. Kai totally ate. I was like, in the listening back, it was like you were able to share them with people, but like we never said who you shared them with. But yeah, they were the berries that stained your mouth like blood red, in your teeth blood red. And that's still in effect. As usual, we also forgot to roll the temporary hit points from Yelena's Socks of the Well-Rested. So roll a d8 for your temporary hit points. Okay, that's a 3. So 3 temp.
Thank you.
And I have theoretically removed concentration from Yelena's Hunter's Mark ability, because it changed how it works to be like a ranger class ability rather than a spell that you use. So if you have cause to, next time you have cause to use Hunter's Mark, we'll see if it tries to make concentration checks.
Interesting.
Oh, and on re-listen of the last episode, there's this one point where Terel was trying to make, trying to improve the efficiency of setting up and breaking down camp.
Mm-hmm. I have in my notes it did not work.
Baby steps. But you like talked to Lord Jomon about it. And you kind of like wanted his support when you talked to Lady Belliphauna about it. But then you also talked about wanting to enlist the help of the cleric guy, which I mistook for Garen Ravenshade, the cleric of Timora that came out of Succumber with Lord Jomon. Not the guy from Zelbros. That's who you actually meant, when who's like Warden Dancy Culpepper. And so let's just kind of like backdate it. Roll a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Since I didn't realize who you're talking about at the time.
Ooh.
Okay, with a 21 persuasion. You were very persuasive, and your logic was sufficient that you overcame any qualms that Warden Culpepper had about it being too recent after like the horrors of the Zelbros to be too regimented with the survivors. So, he gave you his support, and he's helping like nurture the idea of a process for setting and leaving camp. But
Cool.
here again, this is something that will maybe improve over time. But it is
Yeah.
early days. And so many orphans. I think that's it for housekeeping. So, last session, session 32. Your journey east with the caravan to Parnast continued. And as the caravan size has more than doubled with the addition of the Zelbrosian survivors, travel has grown slower, and you've been called upon to help supplement food stores with foraging and hunting. In using your survivalist skills, Yelena downed a brace of pheasant and gathered enough pumpkin that the camp had pie and roasted bird for several days. Kai, meanwhile, discovered a giant long-legged spider in the forest. And, I mean, for a guy whose granny is like a high priestess of wolf, Kai sure doesn't like spiders. Has bad spider vibes.
Yep.
But he was able to easily extract the poisonous fangs from the giant long legs for Yelena to poison some ammunition. And I also added those fangs, or like updated the entry for the fangs with more information about the poison to Yelena's inventory. Along the journey, Terel began developing an owlbear sign language system with Sprinkles, the owlbear.
Yes.
So the party can communicate without using speak with animals. So far you've trained Sprinkles in signals for the words hide, run, and she can signal danger or dangerous to you. Given the slowdown in the caravan's travel, Terel also approached Lord Jomont to gain his support for her ideas regarding how to improve the efficiency of the camp. You also have Lady Belliphauna''s approval, as she prioritizes anything that will get you back to Parnast efficiently and quickly. And she's also really heavy with concerns regarding food supplies. So anything that'll assist with those worries, she's thumbs up. Lo and behold, actions that the party took in session 3, or session 7 if you're Grimm's counting system, came
I'm on
to
36
fruition.
at the moment, so
Wait, okay, so maybe it was session 6 as far as Grimm is concerned.
yeah.
So the letter you sent to the Emerald Enclave via Tony the Squirrel, inquiring if the Enclave was interested in buying Lady Belliphona's wyvern egg, had reached its destination after 3 years. And so Terel, Yelena, and the squirrel's boss, Winter I'm not sure it's actually Winter Warden. I think it's like Winter something else is the actual title, but I guess that's not really important. And I like Winter Warden.
I have Winterhound
Winter Hand. I don't think it's Winter Hand either. I
or
think it's like
Hound. I'm trying to read my.
Oh, that's
handwriting.
someone else.
Okay.
That's the last name of
Gotcha.
one of the higher ups, one of the Masters of the Wild, that's a leader in the Emerald Enclave. I think it's Darren Winterhound, I want to say.
I have Delon. Dylan.
Dylan.
I don't know where I got these spellings from.
It's probably my accent.
or you spelled it out for. I don't remember.
I did not spell it out. I guarantee it. That would be too helpful.
Your accent. We have the same accent.
I know. So you think?
You think I would understand?
But the thing is, you hear my accent, then you write it down in the North Carolinian spelling,
Yeah.
and the North Carolinian spelling is nothing like the actual name.
There you go.
And this is how language changes. Anyway, Blossom Snowbeale's your boss, and she appeared, and she swooped the party, as well as Lord Jomont Shieldbearer, off to a remote location, which you'll see like in Fantasy Grounds. I've updated the background map while you are in this location. You're no longer on the road east. You're in the High Forest.
Oh, yes.
Shadowtop Cathedral. So you found yourself in Shadowtop Cathedral, one of the most secret and sacred locations for the Emerald Enclave in Faerun. While there, you encountered Terel's twin sister Terel for a bit of family reunion, as well as other illustrious members of the Emerald Enclave, and representatives of Terel's family's druid circle, Wildwood Lodge. And that's spelled W-I-L-D W-O-O-T Lodge. The Emerald Enclave seems as prone to bureaucracy and arguing factions as anything else. And your offer to sell a wyvern egg has erupted in some conflicts of ideals. First, there's like a centaur from Wildwood Lodge named Ruzadoa Swiftmane, and she's being the most vocal, calling out the domestication of dragonkin. Two of my favorite parts of this whole scene, when you're kind of like in this Inquisition kind of situation with Emerald Enclave, is when the dawning horror that this meeting had something to do with things that you did in 2022. And and the part where like nobody remembers what happened in 2022.
And the fact that we were trying to be helpful.
Yeah. you're all like, oh god, what is this? And then Yelena and Terel's ultimate follow through of, but we haven't done anything illegal, right?
Yeah.
I just seem very Gen X. I was kind of like, yeah, but we haven't actually done anything illegal, have we? Because hand in hand with the, but is this our problem?
Exactly.
It's like, as a party, you guys have set boundaries for personal responsibility.
Priorities.
Like, we are mature and we practice self-care. It's not our problem. So Ruzadoa is riled because she views a wyvern egg for sale as a sign of fresh activity of the cult of the dragon, or similar, which she terms humanoid plots. Ruzadoa makes a loose reference to Terel killing Rinton Shieldbearer, without naming names. But she states that she and Terel, she thought you guys would get along, because she'd do the same 1,000 times if humanoids gave her cause in the defense of nature. Terel's sister Terel made an argument that there have been accords for griffins and owlbears in the past, reclassifying these creatures as beasts of the wild after they experienced a change in habitats and behavior over time. So wyverns could be on the same path, and they shouldn't be judged on hypotheticals regarding what they could be used for, but rather, are they cool right now?
She was always the intelligent one in the family.
It's wisdom.
That too.
So no minority report for the wyverns is basically the conclusion there. The two members of the Enclave's Council of Three that are present agreed with Terel's sister, and that Darren Winterhound is the one who wasn't present. He's like in Waterdeep doing Waterdeep things. But the Elven Archdruid Anshalal, the one who rode the giant chipmunk, she states that you three are now directly responsible for ensuring this wyvern egg is not used for anything misaligned with the Emerald Enclave's mission. Though here again, I think Kim was specifically like, well, I'm not quite sure what that means, but I'm not going to question it because I don't want to know exactly what that means. Because it's like you're going for plausible deniability in the future.
Yep.
Oh, it's great. Finally, the Emerald Enclave turned their attention to Lord Jomont Shieldbearer. And they brought up that he's overdue in performing some historical duties. And this is where my summary of the what I wrote down as what happened last session petered out. But basically they tell him that he's due to host this something called the Greenwood Gala the next end of spring of the next year. And there will be a Feast of the Three, and they'll renew some kind of accord that hasn't been done in over 50 years. So he's just basically been told, you know, you need to do this. Terel has been told that she's going to help, you know, plan it, whatever's supposed to happen in Oakshield. She has to put it together, and there was some rolling of eyes on her part about this. And you guys have also been told that, yeah, you should show up too. So that's a problem for future you. And the dates of this for the gathering in Oakshield for the Greenwood Gala is the 30th of Myrtul in 1496 DR. That's when like people will gather, and a couple of days after that, there will be something called the Feast of Three. And I think that's where we kind of left off, with you guys still in the Shadowtop Cathedral. But it's post-meeting, and people are starting to disperse from these gatherings. And you see Blossom Snowbeetle is off. She's talking to a few of like the higher ups and stuff, like apparently kind of like doing some after business, and she's kind of left you guys for a little while, as well as Lord Jomont, to kind of occupy yourselves, and hasn't gathered you together to like take you anywhere, like take you back to the caravan yet. And your sister's rather... Oh, I need to share the picture again, don't I?
Already got it up. I have to say that you've given my sister a very hot token.
Yeah, like, well, I couldn't read your token.
So she got all the wisdom and the looks in the family.
Well, I did it for like, you know, she's like that natural living. She's not like being as rough, you know, or it's a different kind of rough.
Haggard.
You know, sometimes you've been living in war zones when like rations were not always guaranteed. More time in cities. And potentially, you know, you've just been exposed to more weird stuff.
That's for sure.
Yeah, but I was also working with available Druid tokens I had. So yeah, I added in kind of general pictures of everybody who's kind of like loitering around. Ruzadoa, her token is here, but she's basically kind of leaving with a bunch of other centaurs, is in the process of departing. So it's really like in the distance. You kind of like last session, and you kind of had your little last glare kind of thing happen with her. And there are other people in this area too, a few other figures. Well, everybody make perception checks.
Blimey.
Whoop. Well, Terel, you get a little bit distracted because you just see like the giant chipmunk take a huge jump, and that was kind of distracting.
It's like, whoa, did you see that?
Like, whoa! And then you like look up and look around. There's your sister looking at you like,
Yeah, get it together.
I'm like, what? When's the last time you were in the woods? You know, it's.
Shrug.
Yelena, something catches your eye. There's a lot of different locations here where there are small gardens and a few tended areas, as well as plant life growing wild. But you see neighboring to one of the areas that Antio, the patient rose, was working on when you first arrived. And Antio has now drifted back into this work. But in the neighboring plot, you see it's not fenced in exactly, but there is a bit of a boundary grown out of plants. And in the middle, amongst these plants, there seems to be a patch of like a vegetable garden, like a very small plot. It seems to be maybe like a 2x6 set of rows of zucchini plants. And they're flowering. And then you also notice in the middle of them there is a stone post, almost like it's a marker, and a name catches your eye that has been carved into that stone marker, and it is Greenley. And you recall that Greenley is person with the Emerald Enclave who was responsible for recruiting you into the group. And she was part of the Moonlight Men who you first worked for in fighting the cults of elemental evil. Like, you worked for them as a scout. So she was kind of like your connection to the Emerald Enclave, but had been killed in that group's final battle against the Prince of Elemental Earth, Ogremok. So you recall that you'd heard that she was to be interred at Shadowtop Cathedral, and as you look around, you noticed her resting place here among the gardens of Shadowtop Cathedral.
I guess I'll just walk over and take a closer look if I can, if nobody objects to me walking over there.
No, you don't have any interference. The only other person around is Antio, Patient Rose, but he is, set off by 10, 15 feet, working on a different plot, kind of just working on flowers, making them bloom, etc. And he's not really paying attention to what you're doing. But it's quiet, and it's just like this just tranquil little space. It occurs to you that the zucchini flowers are because she was like, Greenley was known for her zucchini bread. And you're like, oh.
I was about to say. was not sure about the zucchini significance.
Apparently someone who really liked her zucchini bread decided that they were going to plant some zucchini on the plot. So they're healthy plants and stuff. But yeah, it's just like a little memorial plot.
Just funny, the thought of a grave being part of a little co-op garden.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's like a co-op garden has been planted at her memorial marker.
And there's no zucchini growing; it's just the flowers.
Well, no, it's like the flowers are like the precursor to the actual zucchini.
Right. They are edible, right?
Yeah, they are edible flowers, right?
I'm debating if I should take some.
You can pick a nature check. Or did you want to make a nature check? Okay. Ooh, natural 20.
No.
Well, let me crack open the moonshine. So, you know enough about nature and even horticulture that you know that zucchini is a summer squash, and this isn't summer. This is the fall, and the season is past for zucchini to be growing. So you realize that obviously someone in this place has been using magic to kind of artificially cycle
Ah,
the plants out of season for them to be in a flowering state right now.
interesting. Yeah, I'm just gonna pick a couple of flowers just to have them.
And as you pick them, the plant like rapidly kind of recovers and more blossoms kind of stretch out and actually kind of doubles. You know, like I want to say like a hydra, but like this isn't in a bad way. This is kind of like when you what's the word? Like when you prune back a plant at certain stages in its growth, it will split off and like grow to branches. And you want to do that sometimes, like say with tomatoes, etc., so you get more of harvest.
Yeah.
So when you pluck a few flowers, it does that, so that the flowers become even more dense than they were before. Of course, this also kind of like briefly with the natural 20. This also makes you think of what is one plant from the Feywild. Pick Me, I think is what it was called, but the idea is you're not. Oh, Pickable. Pickable is the name
Oh,
of
the one
it.
that multiplied.
The one that multiplies like completely, like kudzu, like completely out of control.
Yeah.
And if you just pick it, it just won't stop. So it gave you this gives you like a little reminder of like Pickable for a split second, but you know it's zucchini, and it's pretty. And I'm drinking some moonshine. Happy holidays! Kai, you had you rolled a 22. So Kai, you notice in the fringes of the camp, you notice there are a few people very kind of stalking into the camp very quietly. And they're doing it not on the ground, but they're doing it between the trees, slightly overhead.
What, like this swinging through the branches or something?
Yeah, silently. It's just like you caught the movement, you know, the corner of your eye, and once you noticed them, it's like you couldn't not see them. And they're just kind of silently moving from tree to tree. Almost like climbing squirrel-like up the bark at times and sliding down as needed. And it's kind of like this amazing kind of natural parkour kind of thing that you're seeing. All of these people are dressed in combination of like leathers and woven garments, and the cloth part of their garments is woven almost into this like crosshatch pattern plaid, and they have like these leather harnesses over them. And you notice there's also, each one of them has a fairly large axe strapped to their back.
Are they lumberjacks?
Well, you get that idea that, ooh, they kind of look like lumberjacks. Very stealthy lumberjacks, like lumberjack ninjas.
So I shouldn't be worried then, thinking that it's an invading force or anything.
I'm not gonna make it because well, it wasn't an actual 20, but it was like, wait, it's over 20. So I'm gonna just say, rather than make you do like an insight check, that like you get vibes that this is just natural stealthiness, that you don't pick up anything furtive or nefarious intent about these figures. They're just arriving, but they're arriving in a unique way.
Okay.
And they quietly drop to the ground and you see them move over, and they're talking to Grindabor, the animated tree that is from Wildwood Lodge. You also see that there seems to be like some commonality in how they're not only are they like dressed in this plaid, like, you know, and they're all kind of look like they're lumberjacks, but there seems to be some paint markings on their faces as well with runes. Like, it gives you this kind of sense that they're all from a similar tribe or something with the way that they're dressed and have decorated themselves, or they're from like a common group.
Okay.
Is there anything else? Anyone you want to talk to while you're here?
Just me, or
Any of you? I mean, Yelena is visiting this gravesite and picking flowers. But is there anything, Terel, or are you anyone you want to talk to? Anything you want to do?
I can't think of all. I mean, we've basically just been dragged here for a bollocking, haven't we? So
It's kind
like,
of
let's
outta here.
just go
yeah.
quick before that bloody woman comes
So-
back and shouts at us some more.
When you recover from watching the giant chipmunk poop, and then you like look over at your sister and she's kind of like glaring at you, you realize that she's kind of talking to Lord Jomont, and he seems to be like asking some questions, and she kind of like nods, but she's only half paying attention. And then there seems to be some kind of like agreement, and he turns and she's like looking at you and like kind of gesticulating about like, what do we do? Like, you know, what should we do? And
About
what is going
Jomon.
on? About Jomon, about like this future thing that you're both supposed to go do in the future. And it's kind of also like this thing is like, she's like, I want to talk, but like, I don't know if we should talk with this guy around.
Yeah. We haven't got any sort of way to communicate privately, have we? So
No. Because like, Kai, do you have any like messaging spells?
That would be useful.
It's like
believe we've
tired.
covered this on several sessions.
do messaging spells kill people?
Exactly. Let's have a look. Hang on. Mage hand. I could write a note and send it across on Mage hand, I suppose.
Yeah, you could
I know.
just pass her a note.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do that.
Yeah, but
No.
who's going to take the note? That's what the mage hand is for.
Is Jamont still by Terel?
No, he's moving away.
Alright,
And
then I'll just sort of
he seems
casually...
to be... Never mind.
Go on. No, go on.
Oh no, he's moving towards like Blossom Snow Beetle, like, you know, kind of like, you know, how long are we going to be stuck here?
Right. Then I'll just casually but quickly, seeing that he's heading over towards our possible exit, to Terel, and just say, oh shit, I don't know what to say. We're not going to be able to talk here, so is there any way we can meet up? Can you follow us at some point, or shall I just try and catch you at this thing in a few months' time, whenever it is? This is the Green Gala thing you were talking about that we're going to
The
see her
Greenwood
at.
Gala. Oh,
Greenwood Gala, that's it.
I definitely expect to see you at the Greenwood Gala. You better show up, and I'll warn the parents.
Will they come?
Oh, of course. Father will be involved.
Alright then. Yeah, we'll
Oh,
definitely be
Wildwood
there.
Lodge. We'll be at the festivities.
Okay, well, as long as he doesn't find out who I am before then, I'll be there. And we'll try and get away from everyone else and have a proper meet-up.
Right, it might be good if you get here a little bit early. Before the end of, who was it? Myrtle. That's about 6 months from now.
Okay. So in about 4 years.
Yeah, about 4 years. Well,
Okay, yeah.
well, we're not going there through the Feywild, but yeah, it could be 4 years if you went through the Feywild.
Where are you going to be until then? Are you travelling or are you situated in one place? And where are Mum and Dad?
Well, Mum and Dad are at home.
Right,
Yeah.
I just wanted to be sure that's where they were as normal.
Right. So, I mean, I'm going to be where I'm going to be, like Dad, going between here and, home and Oakshield, the lodge. And the lodge, it's not, the lodge is, there's literally a lodge where the circle meets. It is not directly in Oakshield, but it is very close to Oakshield, like on the fringes of where the High Forest is now. And
Okay.
I'm
just trying to think because
it's a little exciting though to actually see, be present for a Feast of the Three. I mean, even if we have to be careful and make sure that nobody, draws attention to who you are and any part that you've ever played in any of this. I mean, think of everyone who's going to be there. You might even get your dryad. She might show up. Maybe you can ask her what that acorn's for.
Well, that would be nice. It would be nice to know if it actually does or if it's just a pretty trinket. Although it does seem kind of rude to ask her when she just,
I've always wondered if your dryad is the dryad, from the stories.
Right. I'm frantically thinking of what stories she's on about.
Make a history check.
Oh no. Oh, this is not my best. No.
It's because you're a little bit. All right, you don't remember a lot.
Yes, I know I'm thick.
But these are stories from your childhood, and it's a little bit fuzzy. But there's certain things that you do know because they were part of what drove you to striking down Renton Shieldbriar. But basically, it comes down to Oakshield was founded a long, long, long time ago, like at least 8 centuries. And the original Shieldbriar who was sent to find this place, to find the settlement, the story goes that rather than just brashly, plop down a fort somewhere and set up shop and risk conflict in setting up the settlement. And the settlement was originally within the High Forest. Like over the years, over time, the forest does not cover as much of Faerun as it used to. And part of that is also because of the spell plague. But instead of just plopping down and building a fort and being like, I'll do what I want, he actually conferred with the people who already lived in the forest. And those people were, there was a tribe of Uthgard barbarians, there were the Fae, and there were the elves. And he kind of made friends or alliances with all of them before he kind of like got permission to build something. And part of this Greenwood Gala and part of this Feast of Three all ties back to the original arrangement agreement. And part of it was, in the ceremony, was the designation of that tree that is sacred in Oakshield. And that as long as that tree stands, that all of these groups would protect and work together, and Oakshield would be prosperous and protected.
So it's like the D&D version of NATO.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
The high forest NATO.
Yeah.
But every generation, every time there's been a new lord of Oakshield, they have had one of these galas to kind of go through the ceremony again and rededicate that accord.
So what would have happened if he had cut down the tree then?
Well, it doesn't really bear thinking of, but it would pretty much negate any of that agreement.
So all the other races that were part of this whole agreement in the first place could have just turned around and wiped out the humans that were settled there.
Wiped the settlement.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the implication, is if you don't have the agreement, or if you don't have the cooperation of the people who were there before, that they could just wipe the thing away. And because of your history as a soldier, and this is a lot for 9, but I'm not going into some of the detail that I would have with a higher roll. You've been a soldier. You've defended Silvery Moon against hordes of orcs in wars. And during those years, just immeasurable damage was done to Silvery Moon as a city, and that place has magical protections. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the outlying different settlements were razed to the ground. There's one called like Jandahar that was a dwarven settlement that did not have protections, and it was destroyed during the orc wars that you fought in. Whereas with Oakshield, they have survived and prospered in part due to this agreement, and that rather than being subject to like raiding and attacks from the kind of things that normally do damage and either siege or rob a small settlement or village of its riches, there's forces that are guarding them. So it's like part of why the place Oakshield's even survived to this day isn't just the people who live there, but it's part of its protection.
Okay.
You remember that there's some kind of like weird thing to the story about like there was some. You remember that the grandfather of Lord Jomont, it was like Lord Merritt Shieldbriar. He was very egalitarian, and when he was still alive, he would invite people into the fort, into the main hall. People like villagers, soldiers, when they were off duty, they would all be welcome into the main feast hall all throughout the year. There would like be these ongoing invitations, and that he didn't put on airs, and he would sit side by side with anyone and everyone and like break bread with them and share, whatever they had going on feasting in the fort. And this is part of why there was that positive sense towards the grandfather, towards the previous lord. And it was such a sharp contrast when his son came and all of that ended.
Right.
And that there were these 3 very large tables in the feast hall when Lord Merritt was still alive. And they were all like at the same level, huge, carved out of oak, and they were like very like fancy and intricate. And you remember that when his son took over, those 3 tables were destroyed, and he used the wood to build this dais so that he would be able to set a table like above everything else in the room.
Right, yep.
And that's when he was going after the Oakshield tree, was to build a table to put on that dais.
Okay.
So you don't like remember the details of what all that means and everything, but you remember those things from your actual, like, okay, I lived this part. I don't remember a lot of the story of the stories behind this, and maybe like I'll ask my sister when I have more time. Maybe Lord Jomont knows, but for now, that's what you remember.
Okay.
And also, you also do remember there's something to do with lumberjacks having to do with that story. There were some lumberjacks. There were some lumberjacks in the story. You don't remember? Some kind of like, because there was some kind of like story about like the Uthgard barbarians. That particular group of them, they became lumberjacks. They were lumberjacks. Which is kind of weird, but yeah, you remember that part. Hurriedly conferring with your sister, she just makes plans. She says, just come to, the family home when you get here in the spring, before you go to Oakshield. And we'll figure out the plan, or I'll tell you what we've figured out so far.
Okay.
But in the meantime, she's going to try to like make sure, kind of try to lay the groundwork for you being able to be here without anybody giving up the beans.
Right. And I suppose that's something for me to bear in mind as well. Just seeing if there's any way of some way of disguising myself. I'll forget by then, but we'll try.
And I think I told you last session that your sister implied that there were some magics used on the Shieldbar family.
Yeah, but there was that guy in the tavern back at crap, I've forgotten the town we were at, but he recognised me.
Yeah, where the maiden dances. It was a cook.
Yes.
It's a well-known like baker, etc. family from Oakshield. Yeah. He recognized you. It's not like they did that to everybody. So basically, your sister needs to like make sure word gets around Oakshield itself that like, hey, Terel's going to be here, and nobody better give her up, and kind of get everybody on board with that.
Right.
If there's something else, you see Tony the Squirrel and Blossom Snow Beetle and Lord Jomont are like in a clump together, and they're making their way towards you gradually. Terel squeezes your hand one more time, and then she kind of separates with a little teeny wave, and you see her kind of move over toward Grindabor and the lumberjacks, Broom Honeybottom, the bear. I think that's the bear's name. Yeah, Broom Honeybottom. And the other members of Wildwood Lodge and the lumberjacks. So Blossom Snow Beetle arrives and she's like, well, that was interesting. Don't you think? You ready to go?
I look at the rest of the group.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, well, I won't be coming with you, but I will open a tree, and you can take Lord Jomont back to your caravan. I guess you might have to catch up with him a little. But we've only been gone, I'm sure it feels like a month, but it's only been an hour. make sure you get that statue to Parnast before spring.
Were we given a deadline when we were given the job?
No, but I'm giving you a deadline now, since you have something else you need to be doing in the springtime. Namely, escorting Lord Jomont, if he's not already there, making sure that he makes his appearance in Oakshield for the festivities. And in general, I think you will certainly help keep him safe so that he can make an appearance for those festivities. Lord Jomont looks very abashed. He's like, Terel is very capable, but I'm not helpless. I can get back to Oakshield all on my own. Well, with some retainers, I can get back to Oakshield with some retainers.
I roll my eyes.
But you do not need to put responsibility on Terel or any Yelena or Kai. They have their own responsibilities with the Lady Belliphona's caravan and Parnast, and certainly you're welcome to come to Oakshield, of course, but I don't think it's necessary to put a burden on them. And Blossom Snow is just let them do their work. It is necessary, I think. And that she opens up a large tree that is in the center of the Shadowtop Cathedral clearing, and another knothole opens up that is person-sized, with a tunneling of root and dirt, and she ushers you through it. Go, 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 shoo, shoo, shoo! See you when I have to! And she shoos you off. And the four of you go through the tree, and when you appear, you're back roadside, where you first, we're not exactly roadside, but at the tree where you first left the road.
Okay.
As you walk back to the road, Lord Jomont's kind of scratching his neck, and he's just looks really annoyed, or not really annoyed, but he's obviously bothered by what has transpired. And he's kind of in his thoughts about it. He doesn't say anything.
Okay. I'm assuming I noticed this.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I said something.
Okay. Then I will wander over to him and say, "What's up?"
No, it's just there's a reason I don't stay in Oakshield all the time. They're better off without my presence, I think. There's too
you
much
are
the
their
burdens
lord.
of the I am their lord, but they're perfectly capable of managing themselves. And I do believe they're quite happy with that circumstance. They don't need me to interfere. And there's a lot of history. Sometimes, well, it's better not to revisit things that are unpleasant. But
You mean run away from him?
Well, yes, run away. Avoid. When I first ran away, they didn't really have much of a choice. But time hasn't made sticking my nose in more appealing. But your Winter Warden and all of your Enclave associates, they don't seem to want to give me any leeway in this matter. And if the stories are true, the things the grandfather told me when I was little, I don't suppose I do have a choice.
I mean, as far as I understand the requirements, then no, you don't. Because otherwise you're leaving your people sort of in the lurch, surrounded by people who might look unkindly on you not wanting to part of this alliance anymore.
I'll do it. I will do it. Of course I'll do it. It is important, and I'll do what is my responsibility to Oakshield. I'm not looking forward to it. But I suppose you can only run away for so long.
Terel's trying really hard not to, compare the irony in all this.
You've rechecked the road. It does seem at this point you've gotten to the road. The caravan does seem to have moved on a little bit without you. So you're still walking to catch up. And you want to say something else?
No.
Yelena, Kai, what are you guys doing during this whole walking to catch up with the caravan?
I don't know that I'm particularly doing anything right now other than just keeping an eye on everything around us. As I'm, just looking around as we're walking.
Kai is concentrating on putting one foot in front of the other without falling down.
Without falling over.
So you fall into kind of like an amiable silence as you all just kind of tromp along the road.
Yeah.
And it's quiet for the wilderness. There's like the chirp of birds. There's a bit of a briskness to the air. It's obviously autumn and progressing. You can feel the bite of the cold beginning to seep in to the season. And there is some sun overhead, but there's also gray clouds gathering. And you see overhead flocks of birds flying southward. The trees are turning color, losing leaves. And you walk in silence for another hour, 2. Yelena, you first spot signs of smoke. A campfire just off road. And then coming into view, you see that as the day has gotten later, the caravan has pulled over, made camp for the night, and you've now caught up. You rejoin the caravan, and Lady Belliphauna, she says, "Welcome back. Anything interesting?" I mean, you've all returned, so I'm assuming wasn't anything too fun?
Sorry, I need to press a button to talk. I guess we need to tell her about getting a bollocking about the wyvern egg.
Yeah.
All right, the camp is settling down for dinner. So, do you want to just talk to her privately, or?
I guess we should, shouldn't we? 'Cause does anyone else know about the wyvern egg? Does even Jormont know about the wyvern?
Jormont does know about the wyvern.
But you don't know about the eggs, does he?
I don't think he knows about selling eggs, but he does know about the wyvern because she spilled the beans and got his help trying to
keep her safe, wasn't it?
Keep the wyvern from being hunted or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a thing back in Succumber.
Yeah, that was it. So yeah, I think we should talk to her in private about it.
And of course, Ragnar knows about the wyvern because he traveled
Yes.
with her. So yeah, you kind of you say hey, can I talk to you alone? And she like takes you to her tent, the three of you. And she's like, yeah, what's up?
So, the Emerald Enclave, or part of them, aren't happy that you're trying to sell wyvern eggs. We didn't tell them it was you. They wanted to know who we were trying to sell an egg on behalf of, because we thought it was helpful.
Well, what's the problem they've got with wyvern eggs?
They're species.
Well,
Some
I
of them are
mean-
species.
Are you guys in trouble?
Look at Yelena. Maybe?
We're not sure.
I mean, it's not a crime to sell wyvern eggs.
That's what we
That's
said.
what we said.
I mean, I thought they'd be a little bit more reasonable about it. I mean, it's not like... I mean, I have natural interests. I mean, I'm fine with wyverns and selling wyvern eggs.
I think it's the person who's speaking on behalf of the interested party who thinks it's a problem was more concerned about the people who might purchase the egg and what they might do with it.
Lady Belliphauna gets a little thoughtful. And after she has a few moments to think, she starts to get a little bit more heavy about it. Like she's thought of something. And she kind of begrudgingly says, yeah, it is something dangerous. I guess I can see where not everybody would be okay with, me just selling that, and to a lot of people, a wyvern could be a threat. I get that. I don't know.
I mean, I'm on your side because I'll point out the tent of Sprinkles. Owlbears are not necessarily classed as pets, but we love Sprinkles. She seems to
They're
love us.
totally petable though. I mean, some people, I guess, just aren't open-minded.
Yeah, and there is always going to be someone who will abuse the animal in some way. Not necessarily abuse the animal as such, but train it to do something that's, dangerous, nasty, evil. And I think that's more what they're concerned about.
I want to, just be... That's so unreasonable, but yet, at the same time, I know when I was contemplating selling the eggs in the first place, I did think, okay, how can I figure out, who's cool and not, sell them to bad people. We had that whole thing with Sean the Hermit that kind of totally went off kilter. I mean, he seemed cool at first, from the letters and stuff. That guy seemed okay, but then he was a total double crosser and just tried to rob me blind, And actually, he did get one egg, didn't he? I wonder what the guys did with it. And that wizard out of Succumber, he wanted an egg because he died. And I don't know. I wanted to get the money for Parnast, because they need a lot. But I guess since I've met you, so much has happened, and it doesn't seem as urgent anymore. And I don't know. I don't know if I would do it now. So maybe we just go on like this never happened, and I just, take the egg off the market. It's probably not even viable at this point. I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
but in the future, if E4 ever has lays more eggs. Yeah, I think they're not for selling. And do something else. There are other ways of making money, like clay from Zelbros, or stealing gems from a cult. Yeah.
I mean, that's always worthwhile.
Opportunities present themselves. So, okay, as long as you're not in trouble and as long as it can't get traced back to me, let's just, strike a line through it. No wyvern eggs. Nobody's business. Good. We'll forget they ever, what wyvern? Ah! At that point, out of the corner of your eye, because you're such an eagle eye, Yelena, you see the little flying form that looks suspiciously dragon-esque, off in the distance that you suspect is Euphoria the wyvern.
Yeah, what wyvern?
But yeah, after having had your talk with Lady Belliphauna, you settle down for the night, and there's a long rest. Uneventful evening. Camp regathers. And Terel, after you have the beans and oatmeal for breakfast, you are pleased to note that all the orphans get their shit together 10 minutes faster than the previous morning. Progress.
Yes, I cheer them on.
I'm going to update the background again because you're no longer at Shadowtop Cathedral. Okay, so you're only about 2 days out of Zelbros. This is I keep telling you what day it is. But now you actually have a social calendar. It is the morning of the 18th of Marpanoth.
Alright, did we tell Lady Belliphauna, I suppose we should have done that we have to get back to Oakshield in 6 months' time with Lord Jomont.
6 months? With Lord Jomont? Did he hire you out from under me or something?
No, he has to do something, and the Emerald Enclave would like us to make sure that he turns up for it.
Oh. What kind of thing does he have to do? I mean, are you acting as heavies for the Emerald Enclave now?
Oh god, does she not know that we work for him?
You're the enforcement people? Well, she knows that you work for them or you're associated for them, because she was kind of aware of what you did in Rouge Fair for the Emerald Enclave. So that, yeah, they know about that. But I think you're an escort.
I think it's more that we just happen to be here with Jomont.
Well,
convenience.
Yeah.
6 months, huh? Well, we'll definitely get to Parnast in the next 6 months. I mean, obviously. But I was kind of hoping that you guys would stay around. But if you have to go for the Emerald Enclave, I understand. But I think we could use you in Parnast. But hey, it's not that long of a trip. I mean, if you guys are traveling by yourself, without a whole caravan, I mean, you can pop off there really fast, and when you're done with whatever Lord Jomont has going on, you can pop back.
Yeah, if we don't get distracted by any towns full of vampire, paladins, zombies, things. Yeah.
I mean, how many of those can there be?
Exactly.
We've already done one, so hey, odds are in your favor. All right. Okay. 6 months. A lot can happen in 6 months. A lot.
True.
So the caravan proceeds through another day. This one also uneventful. You make some progress on the way. You camp for another evening. There's another breakfast of beans and oatmeal. And as you gaze around people looking kind of begrudgingly at their plates, other than Ragnar, who just loves it, and you like look at the like grungy faces of everybody and all the smudged little orphan cheeks, you think it would probably be nice to stop off in another town, at least if only for a night, to get something other than beans and oatmeal. Or maybe when the evening comes, you might need to try to forage and hunt again.
Yeah. Is there any sort of like hunting we can kind of do on the side without like, going too far away from the caravan?
Right.
Last time we tried that, I nearly got killed by spiders.
Well, don't wander off.
The travel continues. Make another 20 miles during the day. And it's mid-afternoon, and the road has become very close to the river. Nigh side by side. Everybody like kind of do insight checks.
Blimey.
I'll do.
More moonshine. There's two of you are really insightful. Terel, Kai, both of you notice that as the road begins to sidle up to the river and travel really practically along the riverbank, and at times like over bridges over the river water, and you can see like the churn of the, I don't know if it's like flotsam or like the rapids in places on the river where there's rocks causing the flow to become more I don't want to say violent, but it's, you know, more of this like this kind of like harsh run of the river. You notice that Lady Belliphauna begins to look a little bit unsettled, and she kind of shifts where she is. Rather than riding like she was previously, she tended to ride on the right side of a wagon when she was in a wagon, which would be the riverside. But you notice that she changes and she like leaves the wagon behind, and she starts riding on a horse, and she stays as far to the left of the road as she can. And Kai, you notice there's one point where a couple of the orphans have gotten out of their wagon and they've been running alongside the caravan, close by the side of the river. And there's a point when they're like running and playing and kind of like giggling where you notice Lady Belliphauna suddenly gets upset, and she kind of speaks harshly to them and tells them to get back in the wagon, that like this is not a place to play by the road, that it's not safe.
Okay. Does she know something about the river that we don't?
She looks disturbed, unsettled by the river.
Okay.
That's what you're picking up.
Alright. Shall we ask her if there's any, what her issue is with the river? Is there a monster in it, or does she just not know how to swim and scared of falling in or something?
Well, what do you say? What do you do? Because you can. I just need to know, like, what do you actually ask?
I just say to her, yeah, is everything all right? You seem a bit dubious about the river. What's the problem?
Rivers can be dangerous. they're unpredictable, and people kind of don't take them seriously.
Okay. So it's just rivers in general. Yeah. That you don't know anything particular about this river.
Not this particular river.
Okay.
No. I just water. I don't particularly like water that much. I don't like.
Okay. And what large bodies of water or?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go to the beach or anything. It's not my favorite. I like dry land. But yeah, I especially don't like rivers.
Okay. Have you had a bad experience with rivers before?
Yeah, I've had a bad experience with a river. Yeah. That's how my parents died.
Oh.
They drowned in a river. Yeah, near home.
Oh. I'm very sorry to hear that. And if there's anything I can do to help you with the journey past the river at this point, let me know.
Thank you, but hopefully, yeah, we can just stay away from it.
You just hear this little voice from Terel at the back of the caravan going, he can fireball it for you.
You like burn out. I would say that'd be awesome, except for probably need the water source for the local vegetation and wildlife.
Yeah, and I was thinking of catching some fish to supplement our diet.
You hear this other voice going, I was being sarcastic.
Oh. Well, I mean, thank you, but I just I manage, but with other water things, you know, I mean like when the quarry was flooding, that was really stressful. That was not great. But I can manage. I can manage. I would rather avoid the river if I can. I mean, why invite trouble? More
Okay.
trouble.
Isn't the river? Is the river all the way to Parnas now?
No, it kind of it kind of splits off and trickles down into tributaries. They're just like little teeny streams. Pretty much once you get past Lork, I think. Because, you know, there's mountains, the Great Peak Mountains. They're in between where we are now and Parnast, and the mountains do a lot to slow the progress of the rivers in this area.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of water. I mean, that's kind of one of the challenges we have. That's why I invited Badger Sweeney, because we need to kind of do some aqueducts and irrigation business to kind of, you know, grow things, get agriculture going. But yeah, probably we'll have to deal with a little bit of the ends of the river. But that's hopefully going to be Badger Sweeney's problem and not mine.
Okie dokes.
Yeah. But if you noticed something, then obviously I'm not keeping my shit together. So I'm going to just have to have a think about that because I need to do better. I can't let on that there's a problem. You know, people respond to confidence. You know, you need to project confidence.
Yeah, but you've got to have some vulnerabilities as well.
My experience being vulnerable just means you get ignored. But thanks, Kai.
You're welcome.
About a couple hours, another hour passes, and it's just like on the cusp of like getting it's not quite, sunset at this point, but the days are getting shorter. And with the rush of the water from the river being clearly audible, do perception checks. Strangely low. Yelena, you're the only one. You pick out in the river. There seems to be some kind of shift. There's like a hill up ahead. And you see some kind of movement motion, like something dropping into the river up ahead. And you think you pick out a few buildings on this hill.
Does it look like a little settlement?
Yeah, like about it's like about a quarter of a mile away at this point, but because of your eagle eyes, you can pick out that much. Nobody else is really able to see that well.
Is there supposed to be something there? Or is that a surprise?
There's not, as far as you know, there's not a town. But you're aware that, like, this map you have of the region really only registers, unless you've made a notation yourself, it really only registers, official settlements that, like, say, the Lord's Alliance are aware of, or Emerald Enclave are aware of, or that they have some kind of relationship with. And it's usually places that have a population of over 500.
I pointed out to, is Lady Belliphauna around me?
Yeah, I mean, you can draw it to her attention.
I'll draw it to her attention. It's like, do you know what that is?
I haven't a clue. But as you get closer, it becomes obvious that it looks like a logging camp.
With ninja lumberjacks?
I'm sharing a picture. So, as you come along the road, on this hill, they seem to have, like, somehow done up this network where it's tied in to these rivers. And, like a tributary that is broken off from the main river. And you realize that what was falling into the water seems to be, there's like this flume structure, but it seems to be circled, like there's certain, like dams almost, not like beaver made, but like man-made dams that are set up that kind of has this circling flume. So it's almost like a ride from an amusement park kind of situation. Because these logs keep plopping into the river and circling around and then getting trucked up this hill, going on like this lazy river circle with a couple intermittent steep drops. And you see the surrounding environment. There are some trees here and there, but by and large, surrounding this logging camp, there's been a complete deforestation and there's just stumps everywhere. Other than these buildings that are part of the camp. And as you draw very close, you realize that the only sounds from this logging camp seem to be the sound of the wood logs and nature. But you don't hear any sounds of people.
Uh-oh. I look at Belliphauna.
She looks back at you.
Vampires. Vampire paladins.
There's buildings. There's tents.
Yes, but is there anything undead?
I don't know.
You
But if somebody checks it out, it should probably be you because you have a lot of experience with that.
Yes, but you said we shouldn't have it happen more than once. Never mind. Yeah, I'm gonna.
I mean,
I'm gonna.
what are the odds? It's probably not undead. If there's trouble, they're probably not undead. They're probably some other kind of trouble. And I don't think we should have all this negative thinking. I mean, it could be something really cool, like maybe they just, left.
Unless
and-
all the stuff here.
Free logging camp.
Well, free wood. I mean, we could use some of those logs, and maybe if there's a wagon here somewhere, we could take a wagon and just fill it with a bunch of logs, and that might be considered stealing, but I also think it's an opportunity.
Right, I think the first thing to do is make sure it's safe. So, I can cast Divine Sense. Yelena, do you want to fly up and see if you can spot up from the air?
I'll do that.
Right, there we go. We have a plan. I look at Belliphauna. You stay there.
Kai, what are you doing while Terel uses her spidey senses and Yelena flies up in the air?
He's just, I don't know, really, to be fair. Coming to grips with the morality of the party he's with.
Contemplating
What the chuff?
Yeah, that's coming from
what
Kai,
a fine
yeah,
businesswoman. What a fine businesswoman Lady Belliphauna is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just keep her company while my friends with the useful gifts do stuff.
So you use your divine senses, Terel, and what you pick up on. Well, wait, what does divine sense notice? Remind me of that again.
Hang on.
I'll tell you. You
Presence
don't
of
notice
strong-
anything fiendish. There's nothing fiendish. I'll tell you that. There's nothing undead.
Okay. It says, presence of strong evil registers on your senses like an auction. So, powerful good rings like heavenly music. So as an action, you can open your awareness, blah, blah, blah. You know the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
All right. So, there's nothing of any of those flavors. No intensely, other than you do pick up, Good Boy.
Right, yeah, because he's celestial.
So you're like, oh, he's such a good boy. Yeah, you pick up the celestial juice off of him. Those holy vibes.
Okay,
But
then
other than
I'll
that, yeah, there's nothing. It just you get a real neutral vibe out of this place.
Alright, I'll let the other guys know. Then I'm not picking up anything undead or fiendish.
And Yelena, you pop up from the air and you do a flyby. And what you see is a camp of several buildings. There's like a road winding down the middle. There seems to be several little, there's a couple watchtowers. There is this circular kind of flume route that goes up the hill. There is one really, what looks like a large, a main building. And you can pick out a sign planted in it. It says Black Snake Saloon. And then there's a bunch of tents and cabins and bunkhouses. Be half a dozen surrounding it. And then you also see what looks like a wood mill. And then there's piles of logs. There's lumber. And you might need to get up close to do a more detailed investigation. But you don't see any people. You pick out looks like a stray dog, just kind of running around the streets. Mm-hmm. You see a bunny.
Food.
Squirrels that aren't Tony. But that's about it. It's just normal, a little bit of wildlife has enroached this logging camp, but you don't see any people. No tree ninjas.
I mean, if the wildlife's coming in, you would suggest they've been gone at least a few days. Yeah. All right.
There is the really large building with the saloon sign, there is a chimney and there is like a tiny little pipe of smoke coming from that chimney. But from your estimation, it's not like a roaring fire in a fireplace. But there is something like a lit fire.
Okay. Do we
But
want
that's
to
the
leave the
only sign of
caravan
activity.
here while we investigate, or do we want to try and get everyone up to the tavern? Or do we think the tavern's big enough for everyone in the caravan?
Lady Belliphauna is like, I think we could use these cabins, we could use these tents, and not have to use the time to set things up. And that would, like, give us a little bit of an advantage. But we could also, like, if you think the place is deserted, maybe there's some stuff there we can use.
Okay.
Opportunity.
I get what you're going at, my Lady Belliphauna, but we need to know where they all went in case we're going to put everyone in danger by camping here overnight.
Well, why don't you, scout the place out, unless you want me to get Jomon to have his people do it.
No, I think we should get him to stay here and guard you lot.
You
Do
want
you
me to
think that's a good idea?
I mean, I could come along. I mean, or I could stay here. If whatever. What do you want to do?
It's a really good question. What do we want to do? I think we should see if we can find some clues as to where everyone's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Or at least
Okay.
see if looking in a window or something.
Yeah. Do we want to leave Belliphauna with the rest of the caravan?
Yeah.
We'll just park here, but come back, give it an hour, look around, see what you can see, and then come back. Because, if you don't find anything that says, danger, danger, danger in an hour, I think we're going to set up camp here and use the facilities
And steal the logs.
and steal everything that
It's not pinned down.
isn't nailed down. Yeah, and look for some wagons. See if there's some wagons. Or I don't know.
Maybe there's some spare horses as well.
Yeah, see, now you're thinking. Opportunity. So, you make your way into the logging camp. Do you bring sprinkles?
Yes.
Okay, and with that, we're going to take a little adventurous break. And when we come back, we'll explore the logging camp.
Okie dokie.
Looking a few.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Back.
I am back as well.
Richie's on her way.
I'm back.
Welcome back. After we're done playing, I will continue the saga of baking way too many Christmas cookies.
You guys see Wicked yet?
I haven't.
I haven't even.
Oh no!
I've listened to the soundtrack. I own the soundtrack, but it didn't work out to arrange time to go to see it in the theater.
Alright, we're
I've
going
seen
to see it.
a gazillion TikToks.
Yes, there's lots of stuff about it. No, we're off to
Like
see it
all
a
of
second
the-
time tomorrow.
Oh man, if I didn't have all the foods that I had committed myself, it's not just cookies, it's also like nibbles and stuff that I've decided I'm making, and I can't let it go because psychological problems.
Compulsion.
Compulsion. I'm just all the things. But maybe
This is the first year we've not made Christmas cakes, so we've kind of freed some time up this year.
I remember you sharing pictures of doing the Christmas cakes and pouring all the booze
Oh, yeah.
on and stuff.
Yep, every year we've done it for Oh God, ages, haven't we? But yeah, we have just turned around and told everyone we're not doing them this year. So
And it's the end of the Whiskey Santa era.
yeah,
It's like the first holiday season with no tweets about Whiskey
I know.
Santa. That's
No,
how I
I just.
knew. That's how I knew it was dead.
I mean, you can do it on Facebook and Instagram as well. So
I don't do Facebook. Oh my god, I got banned from Facebook because like I had originally deleted my account, my actual me account like years ago. And then recently I signed up for one for using my work email just because I couldn't access the page I needed to access without having an account. So didn't do it for anything except for to get the link of like the study Facebook page so I could get the link. But then I got banned for suspicious activity, and I'm like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I didn't even post.
So funny.
weird.
Probably thought you were a bot or something.
Yeah, I think so. I think I just got automatically treated like a bot because I signed up and didn't do anything. Didn't make any friends or contacts or post.
I mean, as far as Facebook's concerned, that is probably dodgy as hell.
I mean, yeah. And there's
Yeah.
like so much dodginess that happens, and I'm like, that got me in.
Yeah.
I'm like doing something earnestly for work. I mean, I would have never signed up for it if I could have gotten away with not doing it. If I could have like accomplished what I needed to do without doing it. But yeah, I am dangerous. Oh, everybody's back, so we're physically and emotionally prepared. Let's explore this logging camp. So yeah, I forgot what you said about whether or not you're bringing sprinkles.
Yes.
We are.
Okay. So she hoots along your side, and she looks around inquisitively as you approach the logging camp and enter. Here on the ground, again, there are no signs of any people.
Can we check the tents?
Everybody make investigation checks.
There we go.
So, Terel and Kai, you don't really come up with anything. You do notice that there are actually wagons of timber, like heartwood 8x8 beams that have been cut down, as well as like 4x6s and stuff. And you can just imagine Lady Belliphauna salivating over those raw materials. Kai, you salivate a little bit because you think of those raw materials and how you can set them on fire.
So much flammable stuff.
Oh. Yeah, we're surrounded by flammable stuff. Oh shit.
Yelena, you notice there is one like by the just building by the saloon in front of it, and like they're kind of the buildings are kind of in a little bit of a circle, and there's like a paved like with stone kind of, what's the right word for it? Like plaza. I mean, plaza, but not fancy, you know, because I think the word plaza implies a certain, you know, like, oh, this is like refined and stone, and it's like beautiful in Italy and stuff. Whereas this is like, you know, kind of rough and makeshift. But it is like, this is part of the road, and it's like widened and is more circular. And there are like these flagstones that have been put specifically in the middle here. And it seems to be kind of like where makeshift kind of like trade amongst the loggers was set up, and there seems to be some signs of like this is where like some people like sitting outside, some chairs by like different little bunkhouses and things like that. And you notice there are a few places where there's like a mug of ale here. There's like a half-eaten sandwich there
Ooh, don't like
that
that.
have been left.
That means they left in a hurry.
There's also a few signs of conflict, of fighting. Some stools that have been knocked over or that have been broken.
Is the ale and the sandwich relatively? Are they decomposing?
Do a survival check.
All of us or just Yelena?
Just Yelena.
Fortunately, it's my thing because I
Yeah.
didn't roll well.
Yeah. Woo.
So Yelena, you like analyze it. You reckon that it's maybe 2 weeks. You know, like it's definitely a stale sandwich, and there's a little bit of mold that is growing. Like
Okay.
I think it's been a couple weeks. You know, like there's some stuff floating in the beer, but like not a lot because the alcohol like bites off a certain amount.
Yeah.
But like other things happily grow. So
Do I see any footprints or any sort of weird tracks of anything that isn't human?
as you look around, you don't see anything that isn't humanoid here. There are all these humanoid footprints, but like from your tracking abilities, you can tell like it looks like there are some people were fight there. You find a couple broken windows. Smashed chairs and tables here and there. Do you venture inside any of the buildings?
Are we near the tavern?
Yeah, you're like
Okay. Well,
right
that
off
seems
the
like
saloon is right off of this plaza.
that seems as good a place to go in.
So you go into the saloon, and it's like this 2-story kind of atrium situation where the second floor is not a complete second floor. It's just like an open in the middle, and then there seems to be the second floor kind of running around the rim above, and there's stairs leading up. But like on the first floor, here again, you see some broken tables, like signs that there was a bar fight at some point. Again, mugs left behind, meals kind of left behind. You spot, like, there's no signs of any, like, people. You do find, like, on the rim of one mug, there seems to be, like, a black smudge of something that you can't identify. And then there's another splotch. It's kind of like tar on the floor in one spot. But like you don't find a lot of there's not blood, etc. Like anymore. Like you do find like a random tooth or something, but it's nothing that doesn't fit in with a bar fight scenario. So that's what you find on the first floor. There are barrels, there's like kegs and barrels of beer that are lined up, and there is a storeroom up here with like lots of ale supplies and food stores.
Well, that's good.
What state is the food stores in?
They're by and large they're in good shape. You know, it's the same. It's like average amount of like wastage. Like if you do have a lot of food, inevitably there might be something that goes off. But stuff that's been stored that has been like prepared so it can be stored for a long period of time.
Okay.
It's still in good shape. So you've got like you've got some produce, some apples, and like potatoes and those kind of things that are in good shape. Just like barrels and boxes of them. You've got some bags of flour, you know, and there seems to be a lot of a dry jerky. Like just meat that's been preserved to last a long time. It looks like it's been coated in like pepper.
Okay.
Does Kai have ability to look at that tar stuff? And does Kai have any sort of alchemy type?
Investigation type stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, Kai. What do you think you'd like to do to try to investigate? I can just make you roll another investigation check, but if there's something specific you want to do, that might change the nature of the roll or the DC.
You could lick it. No?
No.
Okay.
What about investigation then? Would that work?
Okay, roll another investigation. All right. With like a 21, you pick up a little bit, like you take out your alchemy supplies and you don't touch it directly, like, you know, use your tweezers and stuff and scoop up like a little dab of it. And it seems to be, it's very kind of sticky and clingy, and you think, yeah, it is a lot like tar. And you like finagle a little fire bolt, but like, you know, you don't go full out, you know, because you don't want to set anything on fire. But you do want to see, like, does this tar stuff burn? And you
Okay.
do, and it does seem to kind of just shrivel up and like turn into ash as you burn it, but it's like a slow burn, like it takes a while, like it's a little bit repellent of flame at first. And it gives off this kind of noxious fume as you burn it that smells a little bit, it's not like sulfur, but it's something unpleasant, something iron. And it makes your nostrils tingle a little bit, like with the acrid nature of it. And as you take in a whiff of the fumes accidentally, and it makes your tummy feel a little funny, and you feel a little bit impatient with this, like how, like, it's not obvious what this is. You don't think it's like the kind of tar that's used, say, for waterproofing of a ship or the roof of a building or something exactly. You think there's something else to it.
Okay.
But
But
you
it's
don't
not
think
saying
it is explicitly arcane, though. You don't think it's an arcane component.
it's not all of a sudden going to come to life and start oozing around by itself.
Yeah, you don't think it's alive. No,
Okay.
you don't think it's an ooze.
I think maybe I'll scoop up a jar of it and just keep it. Sounds like it could be useful.
Okay. So you put it in you have some glass vials. You just fill a glass vial with as much of the substance as you can find. And as you start actively searching with your 21 for more of the substance, you do find a few more patches of it in this tavern, and you actually spot some in a chair outside too. So it's not localized just to this tavern. Gradually, you make your way upstairs, and you see that this place is more like offices, but not like formal offices. Like there's a pool table, and there are a couple bedrooms, but there's also an area that has desks and bookshelves, etc. And there are some papers on the desk.
Let's have a look.
It looks to be like this is where the people in charge for running the logging camp lived, and they kept some of their paperwork in managing the inventories and bookkeeping of the camp. You find the manager's belongings and his ledger and his journal. The journal is mostly mundane operations of the logging camp and the wood mill. Just all accounting and inventories. Some oh my god, my brain just went blank. The bookkeeping of paying workers and things like that. But there are a few entries about meetings, encounters with Fae in the woods that were displeased about the rate of depletion of the surrounding forests. There's also an unfinished draft of a letter addressed to someone named Davil Starsong, addressed to the Yawning Portal in Waterdeep. And the start of the letter is requesting that there's more labor be sent because of abandonment and a few bouts of sickness of some of the loggers falling ill, but others just abandoning the place. And you also see another page with like a black smear, like fingerprint on it that looks to be from that tar substance. And in the margins, it says, "Is this substance tar?"
Well, they didn't know either.
You also find, it looks like this person has left the States. And you find some monies. Roughly about 20 platinum and 120 gold.
Well, I'm all for pinching a couple of logs, but what if they're just out in the woods chopping trees down?
They wouldn't all have gone though. Would they? Well, it sounds more like they've not been logging responsibly. They've just gone in and tried to take as much as possible, and something in the area has taken offence to it.
Okay.
The problem is, if we camp here, are they going to think that we're doing the same?
Right.
Put a big sign up. We are passing through.
Passing through.
Yeah, where what do they call them? Sandwich boards.
Yeah.
We are not a danger.
Be like, we're not naughty, we're nice. We like trees.
I mean, that's something. Can I, do I have anything that I can do with regards to sensing any local dryads or anything like that through my connection with Maliki?
I don't know, do you?
I don't know, not that I know of, but I could try grabbing my golden acorn. That's not a euphemism, and try and sense or pray or something just to see if I can sense anything in the area.
Yeah, I'm like, here, this is me at the DM, like, do you have any abilities to sense anything Fae?
Yeah, because I don't think I've
Do I
got
have
anything that I've taken.
My connections?
I don't know.
Kind of say.
Hold on, let me go back and look at my notes here.
Look at your stuff. Do you have anything that senses Fae? Does anyone have like a spell or an ability that senses? Because I feel like somebody does.
I think I'm Fae touched.
You are Fae touched.
I have otherworldly glamour. Racial features, half
Yeah,
Fae and
and that's what people like. You smell like lavender. Think it's about.
hold on, over. Otherworldly glamour. Nope. That doesn't have anything.
So that's what you found in the saloon. Other than that, like several bunkhouses. like the saloon also, there was a section that kind of seemed like a general store off the corner of one area. Other than the the bunkhouses and a couple lookout little makeshift towers, there's not much to this logging
Ooh.
camp.
Okay, I was digging into my... trying to find out if I have anything special. I've got Fey reinforcements. Because I've Fey Wanderer feature. The royal courts of the Feywild have blessed you with the assistance of Fey beings. You know, summon Fey.
Yeah, summon Fey?
Yeah.
Let me look at this, make sure.
So I had to open up Fey Wanderer under features.
Because I'm like, I just want
All the stuff that I was like, oh look, we can
that this isn't
do
something
this.
that comes at like a later level or something.
Or level 11. Okay, maybe that's why.
Yeah. That's a skill for future you.
Future me. Alas.
I genuinely feel like there was a spell that like lets you like sense all of this stuff, and I'm not remembering what it is.
Yeah, it's not me because my only spell is the Divine Sense
It
one.
is you, Yelena. Okay, so you can expend one ranger spell slot to focus your awareness on the region around you for 1 minute per level of the spell slot you expend, and you can sense whether the following types of creatures are present within 1 mile of you, or up to 6 miles if they're your favorite, or if you're in your favorite terrain, which you are in your favorite terrain because this is still technically forest. And that includes aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead.
Ooh, that's way better than my Divine Sense.
It doesn't reveal the creature's location or number, but it just tells you, like, ding, 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 within 6 miles, that stuff exists.
Okay.
Which is a pretty, extended area. But yeah, you can use a spell slot to sense if one of those things is in the area. You already know from Terel that there are like fiends, undead, or celestials.
I'm just curious about little wood nymph things. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll burn a first level spell slot to do an investigate or whatever.
And that is your primeval awareness skill.
Primeval
ability.
awareness. Thank you.
So use a level 1 spell slot,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't pick up specifically on aberrations. You do pick up on a dragon, but then there is a wyvern.
Yeah. Okay.
No fiends, no undead. You do kind of feel like there's some kind of elemental and some kind of fae energy within, like, the region. But because you're a fae wanderer, and plus because of the stuff that you've read, you're like, okay, well, it does track that there could be fae in the area since there's some fae complaining. And of course, this doesn't tell you the exact location or direction or number of what kind of fae.
Within 6 miles, though.
But you know, like, within 6 miles, there are some fae in the area. And there's something that seems like a little bit elemental as well.
The tar elemental. So I'll go back to Terel and Kai, and I mean, is there any sort of elemental that would excrete black tar stuff, nastiness? Do we know? Would I know?
Yeah, would any of us know?
found, if it was tar is something you found in the earth. Like it's like, I think, decaying organic material. And something else, maybe? But naturally, there's nothing ominous about it. But Kai seems to think it's not actual tar, but it's not magical either, exactly, as far as Kai can tell.
Could be pitch, the results of whatchamacallit, siphoning off pine resin. What the hell do you call it?
Is it pine tar?
Pine tar. It is not pine tar, because one thing you do find is, once you search around, is you do find actual separate, like, containers of pine resin that are, like, very fragrant. I mean, the smell of it is very distinctive. It's like that strong pine sol kind of smell, or Dettol kind of like, ooh, there's pine in here. And it's like this sticky, gummy, almost glue-like resin. And you find that it is a distinctively separate thing from the tar that you found. So you've got about 20 more minutes for Lady Belliphauna. I want you to head back
All
and
right.
give her a verdict.
Well, let's go back with what we found.
Is there anything else you want to look at?
Probably, but we got to get back.
Okay, so you head back to the caravan.
Sure.
What's your report? Once you run into meet up with Lady Belliphauna, give what you found.
It appears to be abandoned. It appears to be abandoned in a hurry, or suddenly, abruptly, without a very clear cause. There are signs of a struggle and a fight in the main tavern building. And I guess we could show her the tar, see if she knows what that is. We found this tar substance. We're not sure of its origin. We don't know if it's something nefarious or has anything to do with her disappearance. And there is definitely a Fae presence in this region. And also the letters, etc., etc. Did we grab any of those? The communications?
We didn't say.
You could if you want to.
Retcon.
There's no, I didn't make an object or anything like that. But like, say you can bring along the stuff. But she looks at ledgers from a financial perspective, and she's like, "What? You mean they've got this much stuff stockpiled here still? Did you see any wagons?"
Did we see wagons? I don't know if we noticed.
We saw wagons, but I don't think we saw any horses.
You did see horses too. There's some horses. But they're like, they look really hungry too.
Yeah, I bet. Okay.
They've been eating, like, there is a stable, and they've been eating what they've been eating.
Okay, so we probably need to save the horses, at least.
Yeah.
Put it in Lady Belliphona's. What do you think? We don't see any immediate threat, but there's suspicious circumstances around that settlement. I don't know if it's safe.
How concerned should we be about Fae? I mean, Woods typically has some kind of Fae problem, inevitably. There's woods near Parnas. There's a lady Fae there.
Would my presence sort of mitigate that? Any sort of Fae threat?
You're like, it may or it may not. It depends. If the specific Fae are, there's a whole lot of different Fae.
Yeah.
And where it would benefit the most is if they had anything to do with the summer court, where your mother is from. If it doesn't have anything to do with the summer court, then it might not be of any use whatsoever. And even if they were from the summer court, there might be shenanigans. There's always
those wacky fae.
yeah, there's fae wackiness. So you know that that's kind of hit or miss. It's not always a reliable thing. You might be able to parlay that into something to your benefit, but you might also just put a target on your back because of intrigue. Lady Belliphauna. Okay, let's go in. If there's no obvious sign of like immediate threat, I think we should take advantage of the shelter.
Okay, but I think we should all try and stay close to each other and just obviously make sure we've got like a decent guard up. So
Yeah.
So what kind of facilities were there? I mean, I see there's a couple like buildings and tents, but is there a good place where we can like secure
the tavern.
everyone?
Yeah, let's go to the tavern.
If we do the tavern and get everyone, like get all the caravans sort of like set up around it.
All right. Okay.
How close is that? So that raised scaffold that I can see on the cliff. Is that? Seems to be a fair. We could get a couple of people up on the roof of the tavern though, couldn't we?
Well, like there's like a circular, like it's like a circle kind of space with different buildings and stuff. But like that, look out, like the kind of scaffold that's over that little bit of a cliff thing there, and then the watchtower. That's not too far away. That's like a couple 100 feet away from where the saloon is.
I was wondering about putting a couple of guards up there.
Yeah, you can totally do that.
Okay, should we head on in then and set up,
Head
and
in.
Lady
Let's
Belliphauna
head
can
in
start
and
stripping it.
Show me all the stuff you found. We have the wagons. We can feed some horses. We can, maybe have something other than beef cocktail for dinner.
There is food in the tavern.
Oh, see, it's better and better. Yeah, she like rubs her hands together. She's ready to do some accounting. And she calls attention to like that Garrett Ravenshade fellow who's the cleric of Timora, and she tells him there is an accounting opportunity here, and he's in it too. He's all for that. These guys like numbers. They like ledgers and stuff. So they like happily like the caravan heads into the town, and
Okay.
You make camp in, or they can like kind of divided up. Like there are some people staying outside with the livestock. They're not bringing all the livestock directly in. But like some of the Joe Mont's soldiers will take turns or shifts along with Terry and Nicholas Fabian, etc., like looking after the livestock. Because they figure like rolling everything all the way into the logging camp might not help with the whole let's speed up our departure in the morning thing.
Sure.
But it's not that far away, so like the people kind of, load in to the town with just enough stuff for that evening, and they set up their beds, etc., in the saloon, and people get to cooking using some of the supplies there. And Lady Belliphauna is all for repurposing the horses, so she like sends the horses back to, along with like some of the wagons they found of cut wood, back with the rest of the caravan. And everybody kind of like settles down for the night. Now, is there something specific you want to do before the evening begins. You settle down to sleep.
Are we doing a watch?
Yes, definitely. So we need to coordinate with Jarman and get his guards sort of like in some sort of routine, because I don't want the same guys up there all night on the
Right.
scaffold.
Shifts.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. I couldn't think of the word. And then I guess the same for us. Do we want?
4-hour cycles, so they can still get a full night's rest.
Yeah, sounds good. And have they got a way of making a lot of noise if they see us, so they can wake us up?
Can shout. There is a clangety clang at the watchtower. Let's say
All right, that will do. Yeah.
a bell of some sort, a gong.
Okay, that'll
the,
do.
The logging camp equivalent of a gong, some kind of horn. So they set up on a cycle at this watchtower to kind of keep an eye out.
Okay,
What
do
are
we
you
want to
guys
do the
doing?
same then? Rather than all sleep at the same time and all keep watch at the same time, do we want to split it up?
We can split it up.
Let's split it up.
Okay.
All right. So you have like roasted potatoes, and you have there's this jerky you found, and Lady Belliphauna identifies it. She thinks that's reindeer jerky from her examination of the meat. So usually you find it a little bit further north, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's reindeer. And everybody has full bellies, not a bean, not an oatmeal in sight. Everybody's had quite a bit who choose to partake has as much ale as they would like. And it's not particularly shabby stuff, it's pretty good. There's actually some mead there as well from Rooshbear. And everybody settles down drowsily, well fed, slightly loopy from all the drinking, into a rest, except for you responsible folks who are keeping watch.
Okay.
Who's taking the first shift, and who is trying to catch some Z's?
Yeah, I'll go first. I don't mind going first.
Okay.
I'll take the middle shift, the dead of
then-
night shift.
And then Kyle, take up the rear.
Yeah.
Okay. So, first shift, and the sun is gone down and it's dark. And where are you keeping watch, Terel? Up on the roof?
Yeah, I'd like to get up on the roof if I could. If I
Okay.
need to, I will borrow Kai's ladder.
There is like you go up on the second floor, and then you do find a ladder where you can like climb up on the roof of the saloon. And it's now dark. You can see there's been a campfire that has like a bonfire that's been built in the center circle. There was a fire ring already, and when you got there, there was a little bit of like there wasn't a fire burning, but there were the embers still like left behind. But it seemed to you to be like a place where like maybe they usually kept like a certain amount of a central fire burning, but that's been built back up, and it kind of lights the entire circle. And then there's like a few like torches and stuff from where you see the guards and scouts out of Jamont's men in the distance at the watchtower. And I had some other point. Oh, and like that single little trickle of a chimney that you saw before from the saloon, that was also the embers of a fire at that saloon that had been just kind of like left unattended for a period of time and almost gone cold. But that's also been built back up, and so there's a nice little plume of smoke puffing from the chimney. So the smoke sometimes gets to you as you keep your watch, but you kind of hunker down and settle into it, like keep your eyes out, looking for any kind of trouble. So roll a perception check.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, 17. You look out and about. As you're looking around, you notice, that it seems like it's pretty easy. It would be pretty easy to see anything approach because of the number of stumps and forest deforestation that has happened in the immediate vicinity. Though you do see a few trees here and there. In fact, you realize that there's one really large tree, kind of like almost at the circle of this logging camp that they've left untouched. But otherwise, you think there's not a lot of places for anyone to hide on approach.
Okay.
There's just, you see this big, large tree. I mean, I guess someone could hide behind it, somehow. And then there's like the campfire, and then there's the buildings. But at first glance, everything seems pretty clear. A few hours pass, and you see the watchtower, the Jomant's men kind of do a signal as changeover happens. And your shift ends, and it's Yelena's turn.
All right, I'm
Go
gonna
off, Terel, and get some kip.
fly up to the roof, I guess.
You fly up to the roof and make a perception check. A natural 20.
All right.
Okay, well, let me pour out some moonshine. It is dark, starry night, and there were gray clouds overhead. You feel the temperature drop. It's a cold night, one of the first freezes you feel of the season. And about halfway through your shift, snow begins to fall from the sky, blanketing the logging camp. It starts slowly, but then starts coming down. A heavy blanket, a couple inches, coating everything. Except for the fire circle. The heat of the fire circle leaves that place bare to the immediate surroundings. And you're kind of enjoying the kind of like quiet silence and kind of crackle in the air that comes with falling snow. Of course, you're not looking forward to going through it on the road in the morning. When out of the corner of your eye, you notice some movement at the watchtower. And you hear like kind of an abrupt little start of a horn sound, but it's cut short. And you see a couple lights surrounding, like in the immediate vicinity of that watchtower. Multicolored lights pop up. Something almost like in a hypnotic pattern. And you hear like a couple little shouts and then nothing. And you see a few flashes of red.
Oh,
Then
God.
you hear
Don't know what to do.
a little clatter. Maybe hooves on the roof behind you. And as you whirl around to see what's the matter, you also see some fluttering lights. Make a wisdom saving throw. Just want to make sure that it's actually a wisdom saving throw. Okay, but you save. But you think what it is like it's another like someone's casting this hypnotic pattern. You felt like for a second that like these flashing colored lights that had started to appear in this pattern was bedazzling you. But you shake it off. And then you whirl around again and you look down in the central circle of this logging camp that is now blanketed in snow, and you see there are these multicolored lights everywhere in the town. And the tree that was right by the center of the fire circle is now bedecked with the lights, and it begins to move, stepping closer to the bonfire with like a roarish kind of sound. There's like the blinking lights all over it, and you see these lights are kind of like festooning between the buildings. And then coming up the road toward the central into the plaza circle is a hoofed creature. And you can't quite make out more of it. It looks like the size of an elk or maybe a reindeer. And in the darkness, what you can see from it is just like one single glowing red light.
Rudolph.
And I'm going to say, at least for Yelena, roll initiative. And I'm going to share a map and change some music. Woo, another 20. I don't think that counts. Or maybe it does. Maybe it does. It's the holidays.
Okay,
And Yelena,
that's some fascinating music.
You also see like there's like a collection of like little red capped things like in the distance around that watchtower. Little red capped figures.
So this is a whimsical battle.
Where's the map? I can't find the map. Okay, here it is. Map! So there's the bonfire. Now, you are on the roof of the building that's to the east.
Mine's not loaded yet. Mind you, don't matter, I'm not there. Never mind.
Well, you're inside. And you don't know anything because you're sleeping. with visions of sugar plums dancing in your head.
So are Kai and Terel both in? They're all in the tavern.
Yeah, Kai and Terel are in the tavern. There is this animated tree that is bedecked with lights and like the spirit of something.
Those lights look suspiciously like Christmas lights.
Yeah, they sure do.
And there is this giant reindeer with a red nose coming from the opposite direction. And let me add the little thing. And this area is going to be like the watchtower. I'm making them visible now. All right. And one thing I don't have represented, other than Kai and Terel that are inside sleeping, is the guards, which I did not think of. So let me find some really fast. With a 23 initial, let's say you get to act first, Yelena, and while you act, I'm going to be adding dudes to the map.
I'm gonna fly down. I don't know how. Can I get to? I'm trying to figure out how to get Kai and Terel out. The most
You can,
efficient.
like, I mean, there's a ladder you can pop down to get inside. And,
Well,
like,
I've got my
yell.
my little boots.
Or you can fly down.
I can fly
and
down.
go in like the front door and
Yeah.
be like, "Yo."
Situation. Don't know what it is. Might need firebolt.
Right, so Yelena's dropped in, shouted at us.
Yeah.
Right.
Move up.
And do I have enough time to get back out and fly back up on the roof?
Yeah, I'll say that like flying down, yelling
Yelling
then
and flying
up
back
was like
one turn?
action.
Okay, that's fine. I rallied the troops.
All right, and so we have like a couple troops on the map. I'm missing somebody. I didn't put somebody on here, but like, hey. So let's just say that you are awakened, because you're kind of like waiting for trouble, Terel. The question is, Kai, do you choose to wake up?
Yeah.
Guy hits the snooze button.
Because I feel like Kai, if anyone's gonna have the option to just roll over and be like, yeah, you got this, it's gonna be Kai.
No, I wake up. I go.
He hears the word firebolt.
Yep.
He
Fire.
gets excited.
Now Terel, roll for Sprinkles Terel and Kai, roll your initiative, and then roll a perception check for Sprinkles to see if she wakes up.
Okay, I don't have sprinkles at the moment.
All right, let's see if I can do that. Somehow I opened Kai instead. Did that give you Sprinkles?
It did. Right, perception, that's wisdom.
Oh, Kai's initiative is a 2.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's
Yeah,
pretty
they're
much
probably-
the same as him slowly getting out of bed.
Yeah, there'll be everything will be dead by the time I get round to having my turn.
And I'm going to perception check for. Okay, Jamon doesn't wake up because he's useless whenever he needs to do something. And Lady Belliphauna. She does wake up with a 15. And what did Sprinkles roll? An 11? Okay, so
11.
Sprinkles does not wake up all on her own.
Okay.
She's snoozing with the puppy. But Yelena, you have done your best. And now you see like these red caps are fighting the soldiers to the southwest at the watchtower. And so like there's blood spilling stuff happening down there. But they're like fighting back. Dire rain is moving into the circle. And Lady Belliphauna, she's awake. So she's like, oh my god, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? And she grabs her what is it? Oh my god, her slingshot. Her trusty slingshot. Is it fairies? Are the fae attacking? What's happening? What's happening? And she runs out of the building. She gets just far enough to see like, holy shit, there's this dire reindeer in front of the building, and that's where she stops. And you can hear her calling through the doorway, guys, there's like a weird deer out here. Terel, it's your turn.
I would like to do my best. What do you call it? Sergeant's yard voice shout. We're under attack! Wake up! And run out of the tavern.
So, say.
Or does that count as an action?
That kind of counts as an action. You can run. You still have your movement.
Yeah.
But you
So
use your action to like alert everybody extra hard. And let's just say it is definitely like loud enough because you use your action for it. To like wake up. Actually, do a persuasion check. I want to see how much impact this had.
okay, persuasion.
Or intimidation, if that's something better.
Definitely is a +6 on my intimidation. Ooh.
Okay, so with the 19, you definitely rouse some people. In fact, you rouse a lot of like the civilians and stuff, so that there starts to be like this panic and like screaming inside of the tavern about like,
Oh, shit.
what's happening? What's happening? But Lord Jemont wakes up, and so I'm gonna roll initiative for him. And Sprinkles is awake, so roll initiative for Sprinkles.
Sprinkles, initiative. Oh crap, where is it? Roll initiative, Sprinkles.
Just a dexterity check.
Dexterity check, okay.
Ooh, that's
Okay,
nice. But,
pretty good.
why did I have you? You know, I had you roll initiative for Sprinkles, and then I remember that usually we have her do attack with you.
No, that's true, yeah.
But you can take the 18 if you want to, and just like do your move.
I mean, I don't mind either way, whichever's
or you can
easiest
have
for you,
her
really.
12.
I mean, it's just as easy for us to attack at the same time, so.
Let's just say, okay, she has a similar. You can like have you've woken her up, and she can have an action and do a thing after you're finished with your turn.
Okay. So yeah, I will run out. I will stand in front of Lady Belliphauna if I can.
Okay. So with your movement, you run out of the building and you get in front of, you're like, whoa, reindeer. And so you move in front of Lady Belliphauna.
Yep.
Shield up,
Yep.
weapon.
Full on defensive.
For this like dire reindeer that's like 10 feet away.
And hang on. I think I've got a bonus.
I think if she's in your aura, she has advantage to saves and.
Yeah, if anything attacks her while she's near me, she it'll roll at disadvantage.
Ooh, okay, great.
Hang on. No, that's an action. No, that's an action. Never mind, I thought I had a bonus action, but I don't. Alright, that's all I can do.
Okay. Redcap's still fighting. They're rolling so much better than Lord Jomont has ever rolled. It's kind of depressing, actually. Man! Right. And Lord Jomont, he's awake. He runs out of the building too. And he runs into Lady Bellipfauna's back. So like for a split second, there's like this, Lady Bellifauna sandwich between you and Lord Jomont. Because he stopped short by you guys being like, whoa, giant reindeer. And then he's like, oops, excuse me, pardon me. And then he looks up and he notices the reindeer and he's like, good gods. And then he also, does he have a shield? I don't know. But he learned a lesson from the first time you guys camped and ran into the cult during the night. And he's actually been kind of sleeping in his armor while you're on the road now.
Ah, well done.
So he doesn't have baby armor class. And while he picked up a longbow and it's strapped to his back, he has a greatsword in his hands, but he kind of moves to flank you. So that you're kind of forming this little two-person wall. And he has his greatsword.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm attacking these soldiers that you guys wanted to stand watch.
Hey, rather them than us.
Oh, I rolled damage and they missed. Let's just pretend that didn't happen, but you still get the 9 points of damage. I don't want to. I want to move it faster, but okay. Ooh, and that one. So that's ooh. The tree, you're you guys, this is the first time you guys who are outside have noticed this tree. But Yelena, wait, where is Yelena? Did I not put you on the roof?
I'm on the roof.
Yeah, she's there, yeah.
You were blended. You were being such a rancher right there that you kind of, I don't know, blended in with the lights and the roof for me. And I didn't see you lurking there. So Yelena, you're tracking this giant tree that's moving closer, but for the first time, this is you realize that there is a giant tree, and it is moving towards us. And it moves forward pretty far, and you're holy moly, there's a tree, and it looks angry.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot the tree. Is it my turn to shoot the tree yet? Sorry. Or am I just observing?
Yeah, you're observing. You're watching
Okay,
it.
gotcha.
You're aware that it's there, but everybody else is you're already aware, but now everybody else is aware. I guess that was what I was trying to emphasize.
Alrighty.
Sorry if I confused you. Maybe it was your turn. Kai, it is now your turn.
I
You
guess
wake up inside. People
Yeah.
are screaming around you.
Yeah, I go outside and see what's going on.
You run into like a roadblock of people. There's a whole little cluster of Lord Jomont, Terel, and Lady Belliphauna outside of this building. And there's this giant reindeer. And in the distance you see there's a tree. And it's big and it's moving your way. And it doesn't look jolly at all.
So I don't notice the naughty red caps at the bottom, no?
You can do a perception check to see if you like have picked them out. Fighting the soldiers or not. Alright, you can see them, and you can see like from where it is, the road is kind of curving down, and it's like on a slightly different level, but you're like looking down over the road as it goes down the hill to where Lord Jomont soldiers are fighting red caps kind of below.
Okay.
But you do notice that they're fighting.
Okay, so our immediate concern is the giant reindeer. Right in front of us, yes?
Yeah, about 10 feet away from you.
Yeah, right, fireball it is then. Oh, yeah.
So they succeed, which means that they take half damage. So instead of taking 40 damage, they take what? No, instead of taking 20 damage, they take 10.
Oh, damn it.
Look
They,
at all those
yeah.
ones you rolled.
Yeah. When I saw the 20, I thought you'd
And
just hit
can
it.
you draw where your fireball was?
You what, sorry?
Can you draw like where you threw your fireball? Because it's like a 30-foot radius, so you might have like hit the tree as well. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Like, yeah. Oh, you trying to draw your fireball?
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Can't remember how you do it.
It's control and the right left click.
Oh. I think that's funny. I probably did get the tree as well. Should I roll on the tree?
Yeah, roll in the tree. Okay, the tree also saves, but it takes 10 points of damage. So
Do I need
I'll
to
add 10. I'll add 10 damage to the tree. And what you didn't know is there was something in the fire. It also succeeds. But now you see like there's this kind of like there's this form, like floaty, bright twinkling lights that look like little floating fireballs, kind of, that rise out of the bonfire. Now, unless there's some bonus action, it is Yelena's turn.
Yep. I'm done.
Yelena, you're up.
Alright, I'm gonna fire a shot at the Christmas tree, just to see if it does anything.
Says you haven't got any ammo.
And
Yeah, that's weird because she has so much ammo.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because she's rolling for an alchemist fire arrow
Oh, I
rather
didn't-
than just a normal
right.
arrow.
crap, I didn't mean to do that. Oh well.
But a 16 hits. No, a 16 misses. That's
It
right.
misses.
'Cause, yeah, it
Yep.
just misses.
All right. Oh gosh.
But you have another attack.
Yeah, I do. I was just like, is it worth it? All right. I'm useless.
Okay, you're like, there's a lot going on, and
There's
so
a
you're
lot
like
going
scanning.
on.
You're scanning the sudden, war zone of this, and these, bedazzled by these strangely festive lights everywhere now, and you like notice like all of these people pouring out of the tavern, and they're like right from this reindeer, and you're like, what is happening? What's going on? And it throws you off with your aim, just for a split second. And your arrows and plus you like notice that there was something in the fire all this time. Yikes. And all this stuff coming together, it's a little bit distracting and throws you off. Okay, there's a sequence of the things, I'm going to just say for all of the red cap, to make that go quicker, the red cap and Jomont soldiers, everything takes like 5 damage this round. Just so we move faster. Now it's the dire reindeer's turn. Because it circles back a little bit. It's not directly adjacent to you yet. So it just circles back a little until it's about 20 feet away, and then it charges forward toward you, Terel.
Okay.
Make a save versus... make a strength saving throw. Okay. You stand firm with your shield. As this reindeer tries to ram you. It does hit. And you take... Okay, you take this. Okay, why didn't that roll? You take an additional 2d8 because it charged you. Okay, so you take an additional 10 damage with the charge. But because you made your saving throw, you are not knocked prone. You stand like a bulwark against this charging dire reindeer. It's also in your face now.
Would I got an attack of the opportunity when it moved away to do the charge?
You were not adjacent at that point.
Alright, yeah.
You were still like 10 feet away.
Okay.
So Lady Belliphauna kind of like scoots away from you, like around you, Kai, like, pardon me, excuse me. And she picks up some rocks on the ground, and she does a magic pebble on the dire reindeer. And she hits with a dirty 20. And she does 1 whole damage. Oh no.
Wow.
Oh man. That sucks. It's Sprinkle's turn. And your turn, Terel.
Okay. Right. Sprinkles is going to attack the reindeer. I'm going to assume she stood next to me. Oh, she's going to come running out of the...
She's gonna come running out.
Yeah.
But there's a space right next to you now for Sprinkles to
Yeah.
come running into.
Exactly. Right, so she's going to go in with the beak first. Oh, and fails miserably.
Oh, Sprinkles!
So she's going to try with the claws. Better.
Oh, that's better.
Okay, and that is all she can do.
Alrighty, now it's your turn.
Yeah. I'm just gonna do an attack with my bow blade.
Ooh, that's a lot of dice.
It was a lot of dice, wasn't it?
I think you had a lot of effects from something, like other smites or something there, it feels like. But that's cool. 24 damage into this dire reindeer.
Okay, that seems weird because I don't think I can get that much.
I'm not sure what that is, but, you know, it's the holiday season. I don't care.
Yeah, alright, fine. So, follow up with my second attack and fail.
So 13 is
Um,
enough. But you did 24 damage with your first hit. Now it's a pretty big...
I-
That's practically a smite.
Yeah, so that is all I can do as well. And I shall stay put.
Okay. This bright light flies up from the fire to where Yelena is. And it hits her with a 24. Just
Nerve.
she feels a little. You feel a little nip through your leather armor. But it's just a little nip, just 4 damage. And your socks are well rested. I think took most of that, if not all. Lord Guilmont, he steps up so that he is flanking this dire reindeer, which give like advantage to people who get advantage from things like that. Oh wait, none of you are rogues.
Nope.
And he tries to not be useless. And with a 17, he just manages to hit and not be useless yet again. Doing 11 damage, but he doesn't get multiple attacks like you, Terel. So that is him. But with this like, you know, finally having a success in combat, by, you know, with the cleave of his greatsword, he shouts over to you and be like, "Together we can defend the caravan!" And with that, it's kind of like a leadership rallying cry kind of thing. And so all of you within 30 feet, so... Yelena, you're just out of range, but Kai and Terel and Lady Belliphauna and Sprinkles, all of you can take an extra D4 on a thing.
On a thing.
I don't know why I closed it. Okay, wait. To a attack roll or a saving throw.
Cool. But we can choose.
For the next minute. And the tree. The tree is covered, festooned with lights, as well as these starry, like there's a star on the top of its the peak of its little fir branches. There are other little stars dangling other places, and the tree like reaches over with a branch, and its like twiggy fingers, it pulls off a pair of ornaments and it throws them at you. These like little stars, just kind of like hurling them at you like they're ninja weapons.
It just does.
Hits Terel, hits you with a 24. Which you you resisted a lot of it with your heavy armor mastery. And another ornament at Sprinkle, which hits with an 18. And it gets to do one last one, and it's going to throw at Joe Mont. But it misses with a 16. And then it is Kai's turn.
Now, I guess I will try the fireball again. I don't know. Will I get the twinkling light in?
I don't think you can. I was just wondering that. I don't think you can get the twinkling light in, but I'm gonna do a thingy. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, if you do that, you'll just miss Sprinkles and Yelena.
Okay.
So you can't get them in.
I shall do that.
And even if you did, you have that whole like shaping evocation wizard thing. You can avoid a couple of people.
But for your reindeer, just saved on a bloody 20
The
again.
reindeer saves.
Gee.
The tree failed.
Yay!
Oh, you know what? I'm dumb because the tree. Okay, so the bright twinkling light saved. The tree, actually, when you did 10 damage last time, even when it saved, the tree was fire, so they took 20 damage anyway. So let me add in 10 more damage, and then roll the damage for this one.
Right, damage. Should I just roll it on the reindeer?
Roll it in the chat, and I'll apply it to everything, I guess. $26. So, the deer takes 13 damage.
Tree takes 52.
And the deer, the dire reindeer is looking pretty messed up. Now, the bright twonky lights, as this fire hits it, it wasn't apparent before because it was actually in the bonfire before, but when the fire hits it, it seems to grow even larger. And
sorry, Yelena.
and in front of Yelena, this bright twinkling light, it splits into two, and now there's two bright twinkling lights in front of Yelena.
Uh-oh.
And then 52 points of damage to the tree. Which I cannot find anymore. Now, with taking this much damage at once, the tree gets charred, and there's a bunch of, like, burning needles, and you smell, like, the smell of burning pine wafted through the air amidst the snow. And the tree seems to shake from all this damage, and there's just this like burst of sharp evergreen needles that spring off of the tree in a 40-foot radius. Centered on the tree. So the only thing that is in the way is that dire reindeer. So that dire reindeer needs to make a saving throw.
Yeah.
Where is the dire reindeer? There's the dire reindeer. And it fails with an 11. So that dire reindeer is finished off by the spray of sharp needles that burst out of the treant, and you see it just kind of fall over dead in front of you. A bunch of charred, actually smelling quite delicious roast beast. And I think that is where we'll stop off for this holiday season. I kind of wanted to finish that combat since it is a bit holiday-ish. But I guess in the new year we'll just finish off because I don't want to like make you guys hang out, and I'm afraid it'll take too long.
Yeah. Sure.
Yep.
Even though you have decimated the dire reindeer rather quickly.
Well,
There is a partially charged tree and these twinkly lights that are all over Yelena now.
They're bothering me.
And all those red caps, I mean, they're Jomot's people have them all tied up right now.
Yeah.
They're kind of, they're a contained problem.
It's time for them to get involved in some of our shenanigans.
They're earning their keep.
alrighty.
So yeah, that's where we'll end. And I'm like sorry. At the last minute, I was kind of like, I don't want to do any of the stuff that like I had planned that you guys could potentially do. Let's do something Christmassy. And so I completely like at the last minute redid like visiting the logging camp that you could like find along the way.
Oh, that's cool.
And you had Shadowtop Cathedral. I wonder, like, did any of the information I tell you, was that helpful about the whole the Greenwood Gala? Or did I just confuse the hell out of you?
I mean, it makes
big lore dump.
I mean, it makes sense about the whole agreement and stuff. So, and it kind of fills in some backstory, doesn't it, with why the dad was such a dick.
And Lumberjack ninjas.
Yeah, I think that should be a new class in D&D.
It's a thing. Yeah, if I ever did like a custom like ranger or druid, that would be what they are. They're like
Yeah, that sounds good.
a particular type. As you may find, nobody quite rolled high enough to like I think remember lore. I mean, I think when I had a chance for somebody to like know something,
We
they
all
didn't roll
suck.
high enough.
Yeah.
But there's always opportunities in the future. And speaking of the future, the next time we play is January 18th. Good for everybody.
Hang on, I think so.
1 second.
Yeah, we have nothing on that day.
All right. Well, I will
Good.
tentatively put that down. January 18th. That's the next time that we play. And I think that's it. Unless there's any concerns or anything else I've forgotten.
No. All good. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy
Happy holidays and New Year. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Exciting news. Rachel's told me to try and sort out her Blue Sky account over Christmas, so I'll let you know.
Yay! She will be accounted for.
She will.
Yes, I will. Eventually.
Yay!
Well, have a
Alright,
good one.
have a good
Yeah.
one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and holiday.
Oh, I'm not at work now till January. It's all good.
Same here.
Woohoo!
All right, then, guys. Speak to you later.
Alright,
See ya.
thanks
Bye.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.